John Scott just got word from NHL Camps that the NHL Camps will begin again soon. European players are coming back soon. Now, we do know that as of today, some NBA teams that do not have restrictions in their states are allowing players into their facilities, although a lot of May 1st. Toronto obviously can't do that, but there are cities that are allowing that. Is it that far-fetched? And frankly, is John Scott a trustable source? I mean, you could see how maybe he would have some insider knowledge. He knows these guys. He played with this generation.
Well, what's funny is whenever Mike Commodore tweets like a pack your shit tweet, or like there's a trade coming down or whatever, there is an element of, well, maybe, because he's had a couple things legitimately, but he's wrong 98% of the time. Like, he's just making it up.
Yeah,
and
then
it does
the Babcock
nothing to his
thing.
credibility. Yeah, and that, which is a whole other chapter, but it does nothing to his credibility. So if John Scott's wrong, is anyone going to hold it against him ever?
No.
Also,
but
what's his motivation to tweet that out? Like, he's not really a media member.
Bored, yeah.
Just boredom? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So
he's out there though.
With Commodore, it was weird because it was like, wow, he's been wrong 99 out of 100 times.
But
we're like, this guy's nuts about the Babcock stuff. And then it turns out he was bang the hell on.
I was like, what the hell?
But even though he was bang on, he was still bang on the wrong way.
Yes, sure. Sure. Yeah. Now with John Scott, so my alternate question to that, Steve, is like, what's the reason to not tell the truth? Right? If
I believe that he heard this.
Okay.
I do believe that he heard it, but I think there was a little bit of Purple Monkey dishwasher going on, like a little bit of broken telephone. I believe it's been talked about 100%, but like 1,000 things have been talked about, right? So NBA is opening their practice facilities for some teams in states where restrictions have been eased. We know this.
And that's just, even at that level, it's only individual workouts. So they're literally just opening a basketball court open to people who live there, who want to go in there and practice by themselves.
Yeah, and if that's going to be allowed in those states, why not like ice? Like, I could see it. The issue is, I guess it's got to be separate from, well, it's practice facility, so I guess they don't have to swap out the wood for the ice or whatever. I believe it's been talked about. New Hampshire's been talked about. Lots of things have been talked about at a high level. So I do believe that he heard this, but I think someone told him it was a lot closer to happening than it actually is. In the same way, who remembers when Jerome McGinley was traded to the Boston Bruins and then wasn't?
I remember that.
That was Aaron Ward, and he was told. And then the trade fell through.
Now, he wasn't wrong, though. He had been traded to Boston. He just hadn't accepted it.
That was a...
He was given a choice, Boston or Pittsburgh.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Though, right?
Yeah.
How pregnant are you? You know what I mean? You are or aren't. And, it's, maybe he had a couple negative tests come back, but at the end of the day, Jerome McGinley wasn't pregnant with the Boston Bruins.
Not till later.
Not till after the Bruins swept the Penguins that year in the conference final.
It eventually happened.
Boston has everything go their way until they hit the Stanley Cup Finals, but literally everything else. They get all the justice until they lose in the Cup final.
I was so mad. I was so mad watching that Penguin series.
Why?
The Bruins slapping the Penguins, just sunning them and going, the Leafs took these guys to 7.
Yeah.
How?
Man,
it made no sense to me.
If the Leafs had been in that series, though, how many times could Randy Carlyle have thrown Tyler Bozak out to win a faceoff? Like that, every time they had to win a faceoff, Tyler Bozak went out, and they didn't have centers that could win faceoffs. And for whatever, Randy didn't like Grabowski for some reason.
No, and in Game 7 was brutal because Bozak wasn't playing, so McClement took like every draw. Every draw. And he would just throw different wingers next to him. Sorry, somehow this game always friggin' comes
Dark,
up. What were we talking
dark
about?
timeline.
So the practice facilities.
Yeah, so the practice facilities are opening now. Craig Morgan tweeted about the Coyotes potentially being one of the sites where the NHL plays. Apparently, the Coyotes are very interested in this. I can imagine that the organization would be interested in this for many reasons. I would think of the states in the U.S. to open up, I would imagine Arizona is going to be one of the first. It's not necessarily because that's what should happen, but it just seems to be leaning that way a little bit.
Yeah. Georgia is opening, what is it, next week? And they don't have an NHL team, but it includes gymnasiums.
Yes.
Which is,
Florida.
I wonder how many.
Florida just does not care. So they're an option.
Right.
Florida's like people die all the time.
Yeah. I wonder how many pro athletes are going to just fly into Georgia and just try and get workouts in.
I would think that they would.
Yeah.
Although apparently all the mayors in Georgia are against this. It's the governor that's doing it.
Interesting.
Now, and I don't know what that means for local laws. That's the only reason I bring that up.
Does anyone know what anything means at
well,
all?
I think you got to remember too, like.
No, let's address the
elephant. Hold up. There's
until they fix their shit.
No,
we're not going to get any sports.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
Okay.
We're not going there.
We're absolutely going there. We're not going to get sports till they fix their shit.
They're not going to fix it, man. So the thing is that
the
whole point.
Can you screen share and point out the lie? Like okay. I need to see it.
Let me just say this. In the apolitical sense, there are no
politics.
There is no uniformity. There is no uniformity state to state, government to government in terms of what each jurisdiction covers what. So in Canada, the city government covers one thing, the provincial government covers another thing, the national government covers one other thing. And in America, it's even less uniform because you have to look at each state as its own miniature little country that is essentially a part of a union. That's the whole point.
Well, let's televise the workouts.
It's all very different.
That's all we're getting. We're not getting games. Let's televise the workouts.
Well,
today I watched Russell Westbrook run around on a beach in his socks. I'll watch that. It was impressive. He can do things that I can't. He doesn't have to be playing a game. Who's ready to watch so many workouts? That's all we're going to get.
I don't know, man.
We're not seeing games.
I think that we are definitely going to see games. And in fact, Vegas.
In an international league? No.
Yeah. Vegas agrees with me. There is now betting odds. The line.
The Vegas mayor is out of her mind.
Yeah, well, not just the mayor. I'm talking about actual Vegas. I'm talking about the betting tables. Now, Jesse, you can explain this a little bit better. But
what are the odds on a second wave?
How about I just finish the story, man?
Sorry.
Can I finish the story?
Sorry.
No, Adam. Let's talk about the second wave of coronavirus because that's where we were going.
Dude, I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you what the stories were saying. So then, hold on. So odds of the next NHL game playing August 1st or sooner are currently -200. So Jesse, what does that mean?
To win $200, you got to bet $100.
Okay. After August 1st is a +150.
So the odds are better.
The odds are better.
150 on a $100 bet.
Steve, what bet do you make? This is why I'm asking the question. Do you make the on or before August 1st, or do you make the after August 1st? And that is why I'm asking. And then we'll get to what are the odds of the second coronavirus wave?
I know. It's hard. Listen, with insane restrictions, yeah, I actually do think it'll come back before August 1st. I do. But banana sandwich restrictions. And, okay, games coming back is a lot easier than finishing the season.
Yeah.
Whether that means finishing the playoffs or finishing – I don't care if it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. One player in the league has it, you're done. You're done. Cut it off. The season's done. It's over. So this is why I'm so skeptical it'll happen. I'm skeptical it's the right thing to do. I work in sports. I need sports to be back more than I need to breathe. Well, actually, no, that's hyperbole. But some people are taking that a little too literally. I need sports very badly. Right. But I don't need it more than I need to breathe. You know what I mean? So the practice facilities opening up, individual, and again, like you said, restrictions, crazy restrictions, totally get it, totally support it. Ice opening up, totally get it, totally believe it. From a John Scott perspective, totally support it. Games, we're so far away. We're so far away.
So let me throw this at you, because I knew this would get under your skin. So here's what the NHL owners are saying quietly.
Yeah, and into my lungs.
They are not into playing in empty arenas next season. Meaning, NHL owners may not want to start next season. Like, this season is this season. You can't do anything about it.
You don't become a billionaire by being a good person.
They don't want to play in front of empty arenas next season. Now, I don't know if that means they don't play until there's a vaccine, or they play and say people are going to die.
Fuck it, we're rich.
One thing that Darren Ravel, who tweeted out, who's like a business insider, he does all those things on Twitter, was a proposed seating chart for stadiums moving forward. So you have like groups of 4 people. It's like, oh, these 4 people, they live together and they can sit here. And then like the area around it is grayed off so you can't sit next to them. So then everybody's isolated in the stadium. Because owners are thinking of ways that you can still have fans and that they're still isolated. So they're planning on running it like the outside concourses will be run like the same way your grocery stores run, where you can't come within a certain amount of people, and there are certain ways you can only walk. There are arrows on the ground. Then when you go to your seat, there's no one within like
arrows showing where you walk is tyranny. I learned on Twitter today.
Is that what it?
Yeah.